this is our man right here, dude. We'll give him a little background. I'll talk about him for a second. So Jake, super cool guy, awesome, very, very loving dude. As you can tell by his Instagram, we got Jake spread love, dude. Always positive. For most of the traders that I've known that know the guy, says he's one of the most positive guys out there. And that's what life's about, guys. There's no really point of being negative, spreading negativity. It's all about good vibes. And right since I met Jake, since literally he walked in from Tim Sykes' conference, he had his Baltimore Ravens jersey on. Shit was dope. He was repping his hometown right away. I'm a big football guy. He's a big football guy. So we linked up right away, dude. And it honestly clicked off from there, dude. And right from that moment, look at these pictures. These pictures ended up just us hanging out at nighttime. We were walking around Miami, and we just ended up having a good time. And from that good time, turned into a trip to South Florida, dude. So welcome, man. Welcome. So if you want to just give them a little bit about your background, just who you are and shit like that, and then I'll ask a couple questions. But I want them to hear about you a little bit.
Okay, so my story isn't like too crazy, yet,
Yeah, exactly. Not yet. Not yet.
But so I've been trading since 2018, and for the first couple of years, I was just trading listed, and I was unprofitable. And then I watched 2020 OTCs go crazy, and I had started learning them a little bit in 2019, but they were just slow back then. And I think I just focused on listed, which I regret. And 2020 went crazy. Watched them all year. Started 2021, started trading OTCs, and was profitable throughout the whole year, and made back the money that I had lost from the previous 3 years, which was sick. And I was still going into the end of the year, it got a lot harder, and I've been on I finished the year profitable, but I've been unprofitable this year. But I've managed to not give back all my money or half my money or anything like that. So that's been sick. That I haven't been as trading as well, but not bleeding my fucking money away. So I've been really good with risk management, and that's something that I've focused on.
A big thing I realized. He actually was in that Mullen trade with us earlier. He was able to get out completely, no big scratches done, and that's a huge thing about it. You can't get that big wound.
I put $2,000 into MULN, and I lost $36.60.
Wow, that for 2K.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought you put a little less than that.
I bought 10,000 shares at 0.2006, and then I sold out 19.7 and some change.
Exactly. And with that opportunity, so if he buys that at 0.2 and he sells exactly what he does, he lost $30. But think about what we were looking for. We were looking for this thing to go to 24. If it goes to 24, he's up 400 plus. So the fact that you could make $400 and then risk $30, that's awesome. And
even if I sold it 23.5 or 20.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna help the 24, but
22.5, anything like that, I could have made $200, $250, $200, $400 off $36 risk.
Yeah.
And so that's something I focus on, is just risk reward, because Jack Kellogg, he's made a ton of money. Focus on the risk reward spots and learning, really where to enter, where you can maximize your entry and minimize your risk. And I think that's something I've really been trying to learn, to get my own kind of way of capitalizing like that.
Let's go, dude. Heck yeah. So what would you say, what's your go-to pattern? Because everyone's kind of got that one that they go to.
OTC breakouts is what I made most money on. I like, panic dip buys if they can be big enough, and first screen days. And so kind of in that order. And the CRTD trade that you fucking nailed today, which was sick to witness, was just right up my alley. I fucking loved it. And honestly, had I not lost on MULN, even though it was only $36, there's a better chance that I fucking would have taken that trade with you. It's just, there's something, I've been trying to work on my psychology on, because psychology is huge. That's one of my biggest things that I could recommend to people is, beyond just learning and trading and understanding what you're good at, is your fucking psychology, understanding, how you are outside of trading, and how, what kind of stuff may be affecting your trading that you may not be thinking about, but it's because you're part of your everyday life or so shit like that. Your psychology is huge, and that's something that I've been trying to work on, and something I feel like is been kind of holding me back.
That is exactly what he's saying. And what a perfect example of that, and it's great that we're actually being able to sit back and forth to that, is it took me a while to do what I did almost this morning. And I'm not really trying to brag or anything, but like he just said, Mullen was a loss. So you sit there and you hit a loss. Usually you're very down after a loss. Now, if you do highly believe in your process, and it takes a lot of time, it takes belief in yourself. There's a lot of things and effort, and there's a lot of patterns that you have to eventually execute. But enough execution and enough times that it works, you start to gain this self-belief. And that self-belief is psychology, like he was just talking about, that we were actually able to gain over the couple of years that we have. So now I have this self-belief in myself that if I do lose, I can get right back up and knock down the next trade that's going to make me double that or even more. So I'm instantly, instead of trying to beat myself up like I used to be right after a bad trade, I'm almost hungrier to get that back because I know my next trade is more likely going to be a win. Because as a sniper, and once you start to chart your trades and do all that stuff, you'll start to realize if you start to find a pattern that you like and that you consistently play, you should be winning on that more than 50% of the time. Because if you like it, I'm sure you're winning on that more than you're losing. So if you're winning more than you're losing, you like it. So if that happens, then you gotta find that one thing that you like, and you gotta just stick with that over and over and over again. And then that just completely, eventually, just gonna gradually just continue to add up. And that adding up will give you the confidence to realize that, holy shit, like if I just got one wrong, the odds of my next play is being right is definitely a good chance. And if I get two wrong in a row, usually I'd go in a darker hole and be like, fuck, I'm such an idiot. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But now I'm like, holy shit, I am due for a win. You know, so it starts to become more and more hungry for that win after these losses instead of putting myself in this spiral vortex. The spiral vortex I used to get in was I lost once. Oh, that's tough. Like, I lost $50 and I used to be at 1,000. Now I'm at 950. That's a really daggering thing. Then I lose the second time and I'm at 900 instead of 1,000. And now I'm $100 less. So now I'm like, I'm never going to get this money back. And I start really beating myself up. And then I sit down for the whole day. And that kind of stuff is a real thing. And I used to really be like that. And now it's like, boom, I'm ready to go. So right after Mullen, instantly, I mean, he was sitting right next to me. I was like, CRDT's coming down. We got to get it. We got to get it. And then I had my limit set. And it was more like I wasn't going to miss this one because I just missed GTII. So it was more like that because me and him were literally sitting in front of the screen, watched GTII do a similar flash dip yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you look at the daily chart, remember those key spots I was just talking about? $1 was a key spot for GTII. So if you look at it yesterday, it did it in the morning. It does this $1 right there. It does a flash dip right to 94 cents. And if you were watching those level twos just like me, I'm sure there was some sort of buyer at 94 that was holding it up. And if you put 95 in, 96, you're getting limited hit there, which would have been the ideal spot. We had it on the watch list. So that's why I'm like, fuck, I'm not missing CRTD. Once I missed this shit, I was like, no. And honestly, I didn't miss a huge move because the next day was the real move here. But I did miss 20% because if you get in at 96 here, the thing goes to 120. That's pretty much like 18%, 20%. That's an amazing move, and I would have been more than happy with that. So I was a little upset that I missed that 20% yesterday, but that same exact move. So it's like what goes around comes back around, and I didn't beat myself up. I lost on Mullen, but I told myself, I have this great opportunity that's here. Let's make sure we don't let it pass. And then that's exactly what happened. So psychology, I'd say, is huge, man. I'm glad that you actually brought that up.
And it's big because it's the difference between having a green day and a red day, you know? Because
that's a good point.
We're here watching the same shit, looking at the same patterns, interested in the same type of style of trading, you know? And then, I took the loss on that. And honestly, I'm not as big of a listed trader, so it's kind of funny that
he took the listed one. Yeah, I feel bad.
Not the OTC.
Yeah, you should have seen this guy. And honestly, if you guys aren't a listed trader out there, you should have seen this guy. I tried to take him to dinner yesterday. He couldn't let go of his screen. He just had to watch it. I'm like, dude, we're going to be okay. He thought he was going to fall out at every second. I'm like, dude, we're good. And he literally had his laptop walking around my house. Like, he was like walking around with his laptop.
Yeah, like, I'm ready fucking to sell that shit.
Yeah, he literally was. Dude, he put 16 hours of effort into that point, into that 0.1 loss, dude. Yeah, then he woke up at 4 a.m. and now he's just watching this thing since 4 a.m.
You see the smile? It's because I'm not long enlisted overnight.
Yeah. We're gonna actually enjoy after the webinar and shit because we know we're not long enlisted stuff. But hey, it's part of the game, guys. It is a real thing. So I know he's not the only one out there that has those emotions.
For real though.